Hey guys, welcome back to our channel. Today's video is about basic formatting and we will focus on the first half of the ribbon on the Home tab. I have pre-populated some data for an easier startup on the file that we had saved yesterday named as test file. So I have just double-clicked on the file and it has brought me to the worksheet where we were working on yesterday. If you enjoy the video or learn something from it, please like, share, and subscribe. Your suggestions and feedback in the comments below will certainly help us bring more valuable content for you. On that note, let's get started. So in order to get started, there is some data with the account name, account number, invoice date, and amount. I have removed column E that was initially used for the due date column in order to avoid some duplication, as we can use the same formatting on the invoice date column here. So this data sort of represents the receipt of purchase from a customer. The first column here with the scissors, the papers, and the brush represents if you would like to cut a text or cut the data and paste it somewhere else. In order to do that, please select the portion that you would like to cut and paste somewhere else. For example, I'm just going to use the title column. I can either cut it, completely remove it, and paste it somewhere else, or I can copy it and paste it somewhere else. So if you're going to cut it, it's going to look something like this, and let's paste it over here. You right click, and this is your paste board. If you don't want to cut it, I am just going to click on this arrow here that will undo your selection and your cutting and pasting. Okay, and then you can click on escape, which is on your keyboard, the very first button on your keyboard that says ESC. Click on escape and it will get rid of the selection. What if you had to copy it? You would do the exact same thing. You'll follow the same process. You'll select it. You'll click on copy. You right click here, click on paste. And we'll do the same process here. We'll undo the formatting, click on escape, and it'll get rid of our selection here. Format painting is if you have changed the format of other cells and you would like to copy the same format in different cells. So you would select a cell where you have changed the format, click on this brush in order to copy that format, and then click on the cell where you would like to paste the format. We will follow that when we'll make some changes to this text or the data. The next column here is all about fonts, how you can choose different styles of font, you can change the size of the font, you can bold it, italicize it, underline, you can add borders, you can highlight the text, and you can also change the font color. So how it's used is, let's take our title columns, our title row, our title row, for instance. We'll select it and we want to bold it. So in order to bold the title, you can either click on the letter B, or you can simply use your keyboard and click on Ctrl+B, and it'll bold the titles for you. Same thing to italicize the text. You'll click on I and it'll change your font here. In order to underline the text, you can either use Ctrl+U, or you can simply just click on underlining and it'll underline the text for you. Usually for my titles, I just like it to be bold. For its display purposes, I just like it simple. The next thing we are going to use is add some borders within the data and around it. I already have my data selected. I'll click on the arrow, select all borders. Now it has put the borders all around my data. However, I would like to use a thicker border around the edges. So I'll go back here. I'll choose the thick outside border. So now it kind of distinguishes that my data ends here. The next thing we are going to do is we are going to try to highlight the titles. So if you can select your row 1, select on the arrow to fill color. Usually for highlighting, I use the lighter colors because it makes my background color change a little bit, but not too dark, because I would still like to read the titles and not just kind of change the highlight color to overwhelm my font. So let's just pick one, for example, orange. So it has highlighted the title, but I can still see my font through the highlighted color. If you're going to choose the highlight color to be a bit darker, you won't be able to see the font as well. So let's choose a lighter color so we can still read it. The next option here is to choose the font color. For example, you would like to highlight a row or a cell in a different color for whatever reason it might be. You're going to select that row. You can click on the arrow, select the colors from the options that are available on the main screen, or you can go to more colors and you can customize your own color. So for now, we'll just go out of this, select for the colors that are commonly used, and that changes the color of my font. Okay, in order to undo the changes, you just simply click on the arrow back and it'll undo the changes for you. The next column here is the alignment column. It can align your cells, the data in your cells, vertically or horizontally. In order to do that, we'll have to change the row height to kind of make some more room in it so that we can see how the data is going to move when we are trying to align it at the very top, center, or bottom, which is vertically, or we are trying to do it from left to right. In order to change the row height, select your rows, right click on the selection, click on row height, and let's change it to 25. So it has given us some more space to see how much of the room there is available for the data. In order to see how we can align it to the top, let's select the data again, click on aligning it to the top. So the data has moved upwards a little bit. In order to centralize it, we are going to click on the center alignment. So now it is sitting right in the center. And then the same thing follows for the bottom alignment. So you have seen how the alignment works, as it has been moving as I was clicking on the top, center to the bottom alignment. That was vertically. Now let's try from left to right. So this is left. Everything, all our data will move towards the left side. If we click on the center, everything will align to the center of the column. If we click on the right, it will align to the right-hand side. What is wrap text? Wrapping text means that you have a larger sentence or a title and you would like to wrap it up. So for example, let's try to make this a little more wider and see. Okay, so now we did add a word to the amount title, and we just in brackets put currency. We would like to wrap this text because we don't want to make the column too wide, but we want to fit the title in that same cell. What we are going to do is we are going to click on this one specific cell, which is E1. Click on wrap text. You can still see a little bit. You can adjust the column width a little bit, but not by too much. Or I am going to remove the spacing here, and maybe if I'll centralize my alignment, it'll fit in a bit more. You can also change the row height or the column width without having to right click on the selection. You can just double click on the line here for the adjustment of the row height, or for the column width, you can click on the vertical lines. So for example, there you go. Now it fits without having to adjust the column width. You just adjusted the row height, and for all the other data, nothing has changed basically. Merge and center. Merge and center is if you would like to merge more than one cells. Before we proceed to merge and center, let's try to insert a row on top of the titles. In order to do that, you will select your row 1, the entire row 1, right click on it and click insert. It'll click a row on top of it. So you would like to have a title, for example, on your form. In this case, let's just type in receipt of purchases. So now we would like to merge all the cells because this is our main title for the worksheet. We would like to merge and center it. How will we do that? Because there is no data involved in the remaining cells, we can simply select them all, click on merge and center. So now all the cells, all the 5 cells have been combined into one by merging them all together. And you can only do that if there is no data involved in the other cells. And then you can do the same thing. You can make the font a bit larger because this is the title. So you want it to stand out. You can change the style of the text. You can also change the color of the text. Okay, moving forward. In the next column, we have the formatting on the numbers. So for example, if we have to add a dollar sign or a percentage sign, adding a comma, or we have to increase or decrease the decimals on the amounts. So how to do it? You can either choose the formatting from the commonly used options at the top of the ribbon here as available, or if you want to explore more options, you can click on the number format, the arrow right next to it, and it'll give you way more options here on how you can change the style, the currency, the dating format, that you can customize your own, or you can just pick the one from the selection that is already provided for you or selected for you. So we're just going to cancel this for a bit. You can either follow it directly from this arrow, or you can also just select your option. So for now, I am just going to leave column A as it is because it's the text. For account number, I would like to add 0 in front. However, because it's a general number, it won't accept a 0 in front like this. We'll have to change the format to a text format. How do we do that? So we will select our column B. We will right click on it. You can either right click or you can just go back to the number arrow and you can do it from there. On the drop down menu, you will click on Format Cells. On the Number tab, simply click on Text and OK. It still hasn't added a 0 in front of the number. We will have to manually do it. So we'll just double click in front of the number, add a 0, and voila, it works for us. And we'll just continue to do it for the remaining cells. And bravo, we are done with that. This arrow right here represents that you are currently using a text format for this column. For the invoice number, we'll leave them as it is, or if you would like to add a 0 in front, you can continue to do so. For the invoice date, for the dating format, there are so many different options for the dating on how you would like to display it as. You can either display the full name of the month, or you can just display the numbers as it is right here. So in order to change the format of the date, you'll follow the same process, select the column, right click on it, format cells, click on date, and there's so many options here. For example, you can choose the format that looks like the full name of the month with a date, comma, the year. This is just an example. The date won't change, it's just the format. This is only for the format purposes. It has nothing to do with changing the date on the screen that you're working with right now. So in order to change the invoice date, you'll simply select on the cells, right click, format cells, and you can choose the option from one of the selections that have already been provided for you by Excel, or you can customize your own. In order to customize a dating format, the letter D represents date, so you can use, for example, it's January 2nd, 2020, so it would show as 1/2/2020. If you want to add 2 digits for 01/02/2020, you can do DD/MM/here and click on OK. Okay, so in order to change the format on the invoice date, we will follow the same process. We will select our column, right click on it, click on format cells, date, and we want to show the full name of the month. So this is how it'll appear for you. The same process follow for the amount or the currency. You can select the column E, or you can just simply select the cells that you're working in. You can click on the $ here, and voila, your currency is changed. If you would like to increase the decimals, you can click on the increase decimal here. And usually we just work with 2 decimal places, but if you would like to work with more for more detailed data, you can click on increase decimals. If you just want to round up your amounts, you can reduce the decimals by clicking on just decrease decimal button here. So it'll round up all your amounts. I usually prefer to work with 2 decimal places for more accurate figures. And that concludes our today's video, guys. Please provide your feedback and suggestions in the comment down below to improvise or share more valuable content. Also, please like, share, subscribe, and click on the bell icon for notification on the future videos. Have a good day. Bye-bye.